listen, I work tomorrow and Monday, so I can't be out here doing what they're doing. Honestly, this is not good.
Hello, and welcome to Cryptic Web Chronicles. Please like and subscribe if you enjoyed today's video.
Dr. Fauci, give us vaccines. Help all the people who have been quarantined. We'll wear our masks and we'll have to stay distant. We'll wash our hands and we'll be more resistant. Fauci, yes? Promise us, please. We'll have a cure that can fight off this disease. Restrictions will lift with some ease. Dr. Fauci, don't forget me.
The year is 2020, and like much of the rest of the world, the United States is feeling the impact of the COVID-19 pandemic. Around the country, people everywhere begin to wear masks, stay home, and become glued to their phones, following the 24/7 news cycle seeking answers in the face of uncertainty. People are getting sick, people are dying, and with many businesses being forced to close their doors, a whole lot of people are unemployed. These economic challenges, along with other tensions growing in the U.S., are unmistakably the ingredients of a severe crisis. In reaction to this mounting pressure, the federal government will seek respite by resorting to a familiar tactic: printing more money. And while there's a lot that can be said about how the government handled the pandemic, today's video will focus on a lesser-known trend that went on from 2020 to 2022 that still has repercussions echoing on to this day. The Paycheck Protection Program, known by many simply as PPP, was a $953 million loan program created by the federal government that sought to provide economic relief to struggling businesses during the pandemic. And while this program was meant to aid small businesses around the country, as we'll soon see, many began to use this program in ways that were not intended. It seems that the relaxed requirements for accessing PPP loans led to a significant increase in fraudulent activities shortly thereafter. And with the floodgates opened, millions of dollars were stolen. And according to U.S. Census Bureau data, new business applications surged following the pandemic. In my view, a significant portion of this is a direct result of the PPP loan program, which gave rise to numerous fake businesses and LLC scams solely aimed at obtaining fraudulent loans. Additionally, many have recognized that the black community was hit especially hard by these scams. Not only because many black-owned businesses were unable to access loans they truly needed, but because, unfortunately, many were also behind scams that took and misappropriated these federal funds, and they would later pay the consequences for it. On July 18, 2020, famous economist Peter Schiff would tweet, "Why wait for slavery reparations? There is still time for every African American to apply for a small #PPP loan. No employees needed. You don't even need a business. You'll qualify no questions asked, and no matter how many lies you tell to get the loan, it will be forgiven." Charlemagne the God would even acknowledge this trend on his radio show, The Breakfast Club.
What made y'all think y'all could get away with this fraudulent PPP loan scam in the first place? Some of y'all never owned a business, never ran a business, nothing, but all of a sudden you creating these fake LLCs, lying about the number of employees you have, about the profits you made. Okay, I feel sorry for all the small businesses, all the small black businesses who couldn't get any PPP money, who wanted the relief, who needed the relief. But all of y'all out there with fake LLCs like Dealy Nuts LLC and Beef King LLC and Ritter Wheat Club LLC, okay, how were so many legitimate businesses ignored, couldn't get the relief they needed, but all these fake LLCs weren't? For all you YouTube conspiracy theorists out there, this is a conspiracy you can run with, because they killed two birds with one stone. In this case, they killed two niggas with one loan, okay? Because if you're a small black and brown business who couldn't get a PPP loan, you probably ended up ultimately losing your business. If you're a black or brown person who got a fake LLC, now you go into prison. I don't feel remorse for any of you. Okay, PPP was intended to help businesses make payroll during the pandemic, with those loans being forgiven if companies met specific criteria. Okay, it was for small businesses to stay afloat, not for you niggas to ball out on boats. Okay, I don't feel sorry for any of y'all, and I am sick of folks acting like there is not.
Peter Schiff and Charlemagne weren't the only ones who noticed this trend either. Searching PPP loans reparations on social media sites like Twitter turns up thousands of posts discussing the ways this loan program was being utilized by certain people. Beyonce had to know we ate them PPP loans up buying BBLs and crab legs. Y'all call it PPP loan fraud, I call it reparations. Y'all call them scammers, I call them freedom fighters. Scam the f*** out those PPP loans. We need reparations anyways. I hope y'all getting every dollar possible out this crooked racist-ass government. It appears that many people exploited these programs by establishing fake businesses, with themselves as the sole employee, in order to apply for loans and use the money for personal expenses, knowing that the federal government would forgive 100% of the loan. Many of these loans were for $50,000 or more, and as we'll soon see, they weren't being used as intended. That's why in today's video, we'll be delving into the madness surrounding the scam outbreak that persisted through 2020 and 2021. However, I should probably put a brief disclaimer here that it's unclear if all of the businesses I'll mention have been proven to be involved in fraud as of yet. Some of them just seem suspicious to me, and I'm only highlighting them for entertainment purposes. With that said, let's dive into the insanity that these PPP loans created. Although PPP fraud involves blatant theft of funds intended to support honest businesses and hard-working individuals, there's something to be admired in the audacity, as well as the sense of humor displayed by some of these alleged fraudsters. For example, naming your scam business, they're stealing your Hubcaps Incorporated, and receiving over $24,000 from the federal government is a pretty baller move. Or how about naming it Free Money LLC and receiving $15,000 to support your single employee? These only get worse. Talk Yo Shit LLC, a one-employee company out of Lewisville, Texas, claiming to be a family clothing store, would receive $20,000 in PPP loans. New Wakanda LLC for $20,000 in Snellville, Georgia. Reparations LLC and Reparations Incorporated, both drawing $20,000 loans. Nick Corp, located in New York City, for $50,000. Rich Kang's Entertainment LLC of Augusta, Georgia, for $20,000. Jigga Vibes, located in Decatur, Alabama, would pull a measly $7,000. Uppity Negro, yet another company with only one employee, located in Aurora, Colorado, would receive $15,000. Poor Little Rich Nigga LLC, located in Georgia, would receive a $10,000 economic injury disaster loan. EIDL was another small business loan program akin to PPP that many scammers took advantage of, though most of the payments maxed out at $10,000. And finally, the company behind the title of this video. Hellcat Me PPP LLC, a supposed business that received over $31,000 in PPP funding. Not much is known about Hellcat Me PPP LLC, though from the name alone it doesn't exactly sound like a legit company. As you can see, many of these fake businesses appear to be flaunting the fact they were set up with the sole purpose of scamming for PPP loans. And if you're wondering what these scammers spent their money on, look no further. Many appear to have used these funds on down payments in order to acquire Dodge Hellcats or similar vehicles. For those who aren't familiar, the Hellcat is an American muscle car that has become immensely popular in recent years and has also garnered a dangerous reputation as a result. Hellcats are among the most frequently stolen car models in the country and are also recognized as signature cars that are regularly mentioned in modern hip-hop and rap songs. Oddly enough, a short time after the PPP loan program began in the summer of 2020, CDC data on vehicular fatalities by race shows a spike in African American deaths on the road, reaching record numbers. And while there are obviously other factors at play here, I think it's entirely possible fraudulent PPP loans and this spike in fatalities may have some esoteric connection. These loans may also be why numerous viral videos of Hellcats being repoed began to appear starting around 2021. It didn't stop at Hellcats, however. Despite the economic downturn and COVID-19 lockdowns, 2020's spring break crowds in places like Miami were bigger and more diverse than ever.
Fuck the virus. The government full of shit. Ocala, Florida, this motherfucker. We hanging out. We got this shit on us out here. We hanging out. And look, it's all for looking old right here. Ocala, Florida.
What up? Take that mask off. Fuck that virus. We fuck with Trump. Why? He a good president, but he talk too much shit. Fuck the virus, nigga. These hoes got AIDS. Y'all talking about the corona. Nah, they got AIDS.
Listen, I work tomorrow and Monday, so I can't be out here doing what they're doing. I'm just out here just to support my guys, but honestly, this is not good.
This is America. Donald Trump? Yeah!
You like Trump?
Of course, I'm Jewish. John Cena.
They just trying to push it to kill our people because the population's too high.
300 years ago, we were in slavery by your kind. They took our cooking, they took our culture, and they made it their own. The United States put out the COVID-19 to be able to actually kill and control population. We are the children of Israelites, so they can't kill us black folks. They're trying to.
Even more crazy, however, is the impact these stolen federal funds had on the global crab population. Shortly after PPP and stimulus checks landed, the demand for crab in the U.S. exploded. That same year, 10 billion crabs mysteriously vanished off the coast of Alaska. The price of crab also hit an all-time high, but demand steadily continued. And by this point, social media had caught on to what was happening. How the billions of snow crabs done vanished. This shit didn't happen until those damn PPP and other free money shit started being handed out. Like what the PPP loans done pushed crabs to extinction. You has really bought all the crabs into sea with the PPP. However, seafood and car sales were not the only areas that saw immense growth as a result of these PPP loans. Nike also saw a huge spike in sales that hit record levels in 2021. But by the end of 2022, they found themselves with too much inventory, being forced to ramp up discounts in order to continue moving products. Several other clothing companies experienced similar sales patterns as well. Additionally, tequila brand Casamigos also saw a record number of sales starting in 2021, quickly growing to become one of the highest-selling tequila brands in the country. The PPP shit still blows me to this day. How the did you spend 20 bands on Casamigos? PPP era was one for the books. There was no lobster or Casamigos left. I can just smell the Casamigos, backwoods, and PPP loans off some of those tweets. Coincidentally, Brazilian butt lifts also exploded in popularity during this era, with a surging number of women flying out of the country to receive the surgery. By the end of 2022, the media had declared a BBL epidemic because so many women had received them. It's not hard to believe that many of these surgeries were paid for with stolen PPP funds. Got 4 BBLs on my flight from Miami to Nashville. Is y'all doing PPP loans again? Because I want in. Practicing for when Biden shuts us back down and I use my PPP for my BBL. Crabs, cars, spring break, and shoes were all the makings of a 2020's PPP loan baller. However, this would all come to an end in 2021. Fortunately, many PPP scammers have been captured, and you can expect many more to be caught in the future. After all, the federal government passed legislation in 2022 that extended the statute of limitations on PPP and EIDL fraud to 10 years, meaning they've given themselves plenty of extra time to investigate any suspicious loans. It looks like anyone who previously defrauded these programs has a chance of being caught and charged for their crimes for the next coming decade.
who got a fraudulent PPP loan. Because if you haven't heard, President Biden signed a bill aimed at helping crack down on pandemic relief fund. Oh, what a tangled web we weave when we practice to deceive. There's not one single solitary human I know with good sense who participated in PPP fraud. Why? Because we all knew it was too good to be true. We all knew there was only one place fake LLC Twitter was going to end up, and that's in PPP prison. Okay, PPP period. And that's why a couple of days ago, President Joe Biden signed a pair of bills to assist prosecutors crack down on pandemic relief funds. Let's listen to
Today I'm signing 2 bipartisan bills that will give the federal and local prosecutors more time to hold criminals accountable for defrauding the American people during a once-in-a-century pandemic. The American people deserve to know that their tax dollars are being spent as intended. My message to those cheats out there is this: you can't hide. We're going to find you. We're going to make you pay back what you stole and hold you accountable under the law. I'm going to sign them into law as proof of another piece of my economic plan. The belief that in the United States of America, there is nothing beyond our capacity. Nothing when we work together as the United States of America. That's what these bills represent.
Y'all know President Biden loved locking black people up, and y'all just helped him. See, I'm not wishing jail on nobody. I just understand that there's consequences to all our actions, and for some reason in this...
The media has reported on several high-profile PPP fraud cases as well. In 2023, a Miami real estate broker named Daniela Rendon would plead guilty to wire fraud charges after receiving over $380,000 in PPP loans, which she used to buy herself a BBL, a Bentley, as well as other luxury items that she showed off on Instagram. In addition to a 3.5-year prison sentence, Rendon additionally owes the government $198,000. In 2021, Florida-based rapper 9Lock9 would plead guilty for illegally obtaining $10,000 through the PPP loan program. He was caught by federal investigators after he shared screenshots of the loan being deposited into his bank account on Instagram. The rapper also received firearms charges after his arrest, after an illegal short-barreled rifle was found on his property. In addition to these charges, it appears that 9Lock9 is also facing a litany of attempted murder charges after he fired several rounds into a home in Orlando, Florida that same year. In another widely publicized case, 17 employees at the Broward County Sheriff's Office were arrested for running a scheme involving fraudulent PPP loans. It seems a lot of PPP fraud was concentrated in the state of Florida, for whatever reason.
We are now hearing from Broward Sheriff Gregory Toney after 17 deputies have been arrested and charged with fraud. Local 10's Roy Ramos is live with this developing story. Roy.
Nicole, and we have learned that nearly 100 BSO employees did apply for the PPP loans. And of the 100, 17 of them are now facing federal charges. Well, as you mentioned today, we did get a chance to speak with Broward Sheriff Gregory Toney about these allegations, and he says if his employees were involved in this type of criminal activity, they do not deserve to be working in the law enforcement profession.
Did you believe you were receiving these loans legitimately?
17 members of the Broward Sheriff's Office, which include both BSO deputies and detention deputies, released from the federal courthouse in Fort Lauderdale after being indicted on charges that include wire fraud after federal investigators said they fraudulently applied for and received funds from the Paycheck Protection Program, or PPP loans.
In yet another case, a rapper from Memphis going by the name Nuke Bizzle was sentenced to over 6 years in prison after fraudulently receiving over $700,000 in government employment loans. Bizzle would even brag about these scams in a music video he uploaded to YouTube titled EDD. With the statute of limitations being extended to 10 years, you can expect to hear a lot more of these stories coming in the future. These loans were meant for honest people, and it's disgusting that so many scammers tried to take advantage of this program. At the same time, the federal government probably should have used more oversight when handing these loans out. Either way, crime doesn't pay, and with the changes to the statute of limitations, it looks like many of these scammers could eventually be caught. Thank you for watching. This has been Cryptic Web Chronicles. Today's video was on a different topic than usual, so I hope you enjoyed the change of subject. If you're new here, please make sure to like and subscribe because I'll be branching out into more interesting topics like this in the future. Thanks again for tuning in. and good night.